All right, we are 1.5 days into the flashback event, the Mayhem event. Sitting here in SSF softcore, like you can see on the screen, hopefully. We are rank 29 overall and rank 2 in our class. We're playing Guardian. Figured that Guardian would be a good place to be in order to get some demis. So realistically, maybe I have to hit level 100, but I want to be in the top 5 by the end of the week because I want that cool sword. I want to flex it in standard and make my character large. So here's what we're playing. We are playing, we thought we were going to play SRS. We're still playing SRS up here. We have Summon Raging Spirit, minion damage, melee fizz, and melee splash. Melee splash for multi-strike when we need single target damage. I thought that was going to be the entire build, but we ended up trying some Spectres as well. Somebody in chat recommended actually taking the time to try the Syndicate Operatives because I did enjoy playing slave drivers in the past. And slave drivers are great. I like them. I could clear all the content, I'm sure of it, but we tried something new. So currently we have Ray Spectre as well. You see these guys up here. We only have 3 Spectres. We have 1 from the skill tree, 2 from the gem. So we have Ray Spectre, Vicious Proj, Volley, Minion Damage, Wed, and Spell Echo. LE damage with attack skills is only here because we have a red socket. Ideally, this would be like Predator support, I think would be pretty good. Maybe something like Impale would be good as well. But we're using Hatred because Hatred kind of hits both of our minions that we're using. We have like the Fizz Projectile Spectre from Syndicate Operatives. And we have like the Fizz half converted to fire damage from SRS. So Hatred kind of helps it. We're not currently using EE because I haven't felt the need for it yet. It's fine. It's just kind of a work in progress. It's enough damage. We have about 15 Watchstones on our Atlas so far. And we've been able to kill everything there in a couple seconds. So that's working out well. The gear that we have so far, it's kind of good. We have some +2 minion gems with life, Fizz taking his Ellie. We 6-link this with a bunch of fusings, and we have life, Fizz taking his Ellie. For our shield, we just swapped into this. Up until this point, we were using a shield that just had a bunch of life. Now we have a life and recover life on block shield, which is pretty good. The shield itself it's actually garbage, but it has recover life on block, and that represents about 350-ish life for me right now with my life total here. So that's all right. We have a +1 wand with no other relevant text on it, and then we unveiled Trigger, so that's working there. Trigger is giving us Flesh Offering, Tempest Shield, and Desecrate. Let's see what our block chance is here. Chance to block is 31-16. If I attack with my basic attack, we go 41-16. If I also use a spell, we're at 31-26. Remember, that's part of my ascendancy. If I use a spell, if I use an attack, I get +10. And then every couple seconds, I get +50% attack block chance. So generally speaking, my block is between 44-30 and 75-30. So it's somewhere between those two values, which is why we don't have glancing blows. Skill tree itself, everything here is pretty straightforward. Anything that says minion, anything that says life. We have a little bit of spell block here, and that's really about it. I wanted to make sure that our minions were staying alive because I do have a Kingmaker set up with my animate Guardian. So I have like this whole wheel here just to make sure that I don't lose my Kingmaker, which would be a big deal if I didn't also have a second Kingmaker. So we've had a little bit of RNG in getting gear. I think the second Kingmaker is the funniest part of that. Realistically, we have a Mirror Shard, but this is like tremendously not useful at all. And just a funny thing to look at, I suppose. Rest of the gear, life res, life chaos res, and some aligned spirits. Aligned spirits just has the word minion damage on it. It's so funny looking at minion builds. Minion builds, like, they all look the same to me. It's like, click on anything that says life, click on anything that says minion. You're probably doing great. While I was playing SRS, I leveled up with minion stability and swapped out of it like level 50 or so. I actually swapped out of it only because I had a bunch of red sockets, and I just started using melee splash and melee fizz because I couldn't get rid of the red sockets on the helmet that I was using at the time. For SRS, while I was still using them with melee splash, the AoE from the skill tree with Fearsome Force scales melee splash, and it makes SRS like huge clear speed. Like, their AoE is ridiculous. Now that I'm more so relying on Spectres, I spec'd out of this and I just like grabbed some extra res up here because I felt like if anything's going to kill me, it's going to be some kind of combination of elemental and spell damage, because spell block is like the one that I have less of. So maybe this helps us. That's the desire so far. Uber Lab, we got it. Doesn't do much for us, but it gives us a little bit of a regen every 5 seconds here. So yeah, that's the build. That's what we're looking at. I think the most interesting part about this is, like, I think these are well documented at this point. The Syndicate operative specters, they use they use the opposite of spell slinger. They use attack slinger. So they cast one spell, and then you have spell echo, and then they have like 3 attacks that go out from that, and like the 3 attacks, 2 spells, 6 attacks, volley, a bunch of overlapping projectiles. It's pretty sick. I'm not the originator of this. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I think they're pretty cool so far. Honestly, the little gimmick with their AI, that you have to be just far enough away to make sure that they're using their projectile attack instead of using their melee attack, which is much less damage. That gimmick, it kind of makes me miss playing slave drivers. Yeah, slave drivers like much less damage, but man, I've played a slave driver build before. I kind of fell in love with it, and like, you know, I kind of miss having the no gimmick AI that's just fast and good and has AoE and hits everything and doesn't rely on being just the right distance away in order to have insane damage like we have with the Syndicate operatives here. So that's what we got so far. We're gonna probably take a break and call that sleep and then be back at this tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know whether we have to be level 100 to get our Demi, but if we do, we'll just keep pushing. We got a couple more days of this, and then we have the Delve event coming up on Friday, Saturday, something like that. But should be a good time. Cool. All right. Thanks for being here.